one of the most difficult things I've ever done. Yeah, I mean, it's, well, first of all, I mean, in terms of like, just going back to permits and stuff like that, I mean, yeah, I insisted because it was the first time I was doing this, I didn't want to get sued by anybody, so I made sure that Sean was shooting with permits on every single shot. And anything you see in a subway, by the way, in New York, is never legal because they're always what they call stolen shots, just because it's illegal to shoot on a subway. They'll take your camera, and it's like anywhere from $20,000 to $200,000 to actually shoot, even if it's one scene. So no director, I mean, I guess maybe big studios do, but no independent director ever pays for that. But in terms of shooting in New York, I mean, it's not as difficult as you would think. I mean, it was difficult, but it's not as difficult as you would think. You go down to the mayor's office, you ask them for permits to shoot on particular streets. They will block off streets for you for free. They'll send police assistance for free. There's like, you have to have insurance in order to get the permits, but you can get 30 days or 45 days worth of permits. And just literally, I mean, you have to sit at the mayor's office, or the mayor's film commission on film, whatever it's called, for probably 2 to 3 hours filling out paperwork, but that's really a small price to pay. And you really can get permits for anything. There's a couple of areas in New York that are like restricted, like down in the Village and stuff like that. But you know what? You can find another, set two streets over. You can shoot just about anything you want in New York as long as you spend the time making, doing the permits.
How much does the insurance cost?
The insurance for our film was, I think, $1,900, which really wasn't bad. We found for the 35 days. Yeah, it was really good. I did a lot of research until I found a place that was willing to.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good, and because that's something that's also very important if you're working with a crew, and if there's any, no matter what.
But we were working with a child, so we wanted to have insurance.
Insurance is the cost that is most often overlooked by people who are just starting out making films, and it's the point of greatest regret for quite a few productions if they don't have insurance. Insurance is absolutely necessary. James Seamus, who is a well-known producer, I had a seminar with him, and he was like, the place to put your money, not in actors, insurance. And when he's talking about independent films, he's like, spend the money on insurance. Actors, you could get good actors.
Yeah.
But steal your shots, spend it on insurance. Brad, is it like that in Canada? Is insurance as important?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably comparable. When I mention broadcasters, they'll often require they get E&O insurance. If you get E&O insurance, which is errors and omissions, a lawyer or someone will look through your production papers and determine if you have permission to shoot in the various locations that your film is shot in. So yeah, you have to consider those things.
Yeah.
$2,000 is a camera.
You see, it's different.
Yeah. Different. Oh well.
Other questions? Yes, in fact.
Hi. Could you guys talk about the difficulty of working with extras, both from a producing standpoint and as a director and cinematographer? Because it's very hard to work with them. They're usually not trained actors or regular people, and it's hard to make them kind of be a part of the environment and seem organic.
That's a good, Manuel, have you had a lot of experience working with extras?
Do the extras need insurances also?
No. You just gotta make sure they have water.
Do you have like a minimum pay for them also? Here?
Well,
For extras?
no, we try to get by that, but
Yeah, we have. It's a minimum of $30 per day we have to pay them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not coming over there.
Yeah.
we knew there was a downside.
Extras. Well, I like extras. They make the movie. They are in the back, or you need I don't know. I often have another person that coordinates them because it's easier to control. If it's a large, we shot in a stadium with 3,500 people, so it wasn't really difficult to coordinate with people. Yeah, extras is really, I don't know what to answer that. It's not so difficult to work with them. I enjoy them. I don't know. They're nice people.
Well, with the New York shoot, I mean, typically we'd get permits or get releases from people on the street after we shot. We never had to reshoot a scene because somebody wouldn't sign a release. They'd be like, oh, cool, I'm in a movie. And that's the most natural way to get extras. I mean, if you want people who are gonna act natural, you just, hand down the street. But there is the downside of you may shoot an entire scene and then somebody may run away from you when you try to, they might be like in the witness protection program and running away from you when you're trying to get them to sign a release. And we did have that in one scene, but we never used the scene, so. But usually, yeah, it's just for us.
Okay,
Tons of crowds.
I hate when they look in the camera.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
So if you're an extra, please, okay, put your sunglasses, I don't know, do anything. Just don't look.
It is the one thing that you always have to tell them, whatever you do, don't look at the
No,
camera, and
no,
then
but
they do anyway.
yeah, but if you say it, you look at it. So you go like, you know what to say. You go like,
A lot of working with extras is having, if you have a big enough shoot, is having a good assistant director. It's the assistant directors who really handle the extras. If you're trying to direct and handle the extras, it's way, way too much, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me, it's as a cinematographer. I mean, I've shot stuff where we've had like 100 extras kind of thing, and it's a little bit like a zoo. It's kind of crazy. People have they're standing around, they don't know what to do, where are they going? So you need to really make sure you have a really strong production staff that day. So there's enough handlers in terms of telling people where they can stand, what their action is supposed to be, and in terms of a production standpoint. Some of the biggest challenges I see are making sure everyone's on the same page of like who's going to be there for how long and at what time. Because at some point you might have these great extras who just did something and they have to do that for the next 2 hours, and so has to leave in 20 minutes. So you got to make sure that people are scheduled correctly. Whoever's closest to camera has to repeat certain actions are actually there for the amount of time that you're shooting. And then the other challenge that I see behind it is people always forget about the extras. So they're so busy blocking camera and blocking actors, then suddenly it's like, okay, well, let's throw in all the extras, and they have no idea what they're doing, and suddenly you have, 50 people crossing in front of the camera, and so you just need to make sure that you schedule the time to actually be blocking the extras, because they all have to be blocked for the most part. I mean, when you're doing the blocking, hopefully that's what your AD or second AD is doing while you're working with, the primary actors and trying to get them in their blocking. And then you just have to be open to a lot of rehearsal time, because usually, depending on what kind of shot it is. Like I actually just shot this feature that I just worked on. We did one of those big, long steady cam shots where it goes through this whole entire club for like 5 minutes. And we did have like 100 something extras, and it was like people crossing in front of the camera and people walking behind the camera, and it was a lot of don't look in the camera, Sometimes the extras would want to do something a little extra special, but it might be like, that's pulling away from what we're actually, we're supposed to be looking at the actor back there, and like you jumping up and down, screaming, you know what I mean? It's like it's not working, and.
No, I think actually letting them know exactly what they have to do, because in my experience with extras, when the trouble has been is when they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh no, just dance, They're like, dance? Yeah. So if you could give them some specific kind of direction, more specific kind of direction, they usually show up just fine.
And the only problems I've had with extras is sometimes there's the extras who are kind of like, oh, I'm so-and-so's brother, I didn't realize I was going to have to be here for 5 hours.
That's,
and then you get this person who's just like in the background, just really pissed off the whole entire time. Or you get someone who's just really, really excited to be on set and really wanting to, be in front of the camera, and you're a little bit like, well, you actually kind of have to bring it down a little bit. And you don't have to walk that fast in front of the camera. You don't have to like stomp across. It's just kind of like just walk, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.